Alright, hey everybody. It's your boy Phanny here, just recording another Strixhaven premiere draft. It looks like we're opening up Casmina, Enigma Sage, as our mythic rare. It's a decent card. But nothing, you know. It's a mythic, but it's a planeswalker. It's good, of course, but not earth-shatteringly good. But still certainly good enough to first pick here and play with and have some fun with. Could be interesting if we end up getting a Will or a Rowan. Will and Rowan, or if we get Professor Onyx, maybe the Planeswalker ability comes into play, but otherwise it's just scrying on a stick that can also create a 1-1 or a 2-2 to defend itself if needed. So we've got Stone Rain here, which is always a bit memeable, but I think I'm looking at Emergent Sequence first off. So in Constructed, ramping as a creature can be a weakness if killed with removal. In Draft, however, if they're using removal on this, they're not removing your later threats. And it does affect the board, so it can actually be a bonus. Now this searches for any basic land, so it could also be considered fixing if we are base green. Other cards that we're passing that have proven pretty great for me are, of course, Expanded Anatomy is just a lesson that can go in any deck. And then the Silver Quill Pledge Mage is definitely a force to be reckoned with. And Stone Rain, as we already mentioned, still certainly an option, but I think Emergent Sequence is where we want to be. And now, right away, I'm drawn to the Cultivate. I just think it's pretty good, and with Emergent Sequence and Cultivate, we can be base green, splashing any other card. Other cards that I think are pretty good here: Lash of Malice, pretty cheap removal. Eagling Summoning is a decent lesson. Needlethorn Drake can help to kind of kill flyers and is an early play that's still relevant late game. And then Snow Day, a good 6-mana spell that does a lot of stuff. But I think I'm pretty happy taking the Cultivate here. It sets me up to be basically any deck that I want to be as long as I can play a bit of green. So we've got Duress, Karok Wrangler, and Aether Helix as the uncommons that are left. We've also got, as notable commons, of course, Environmental Sciences, and then Frost Trickster. Pillar Drop Rescuer is okay, Spectre, all these other cards are okay, but those are the two commons I'm looking at, and then I'm looking between these two uncommons. So the Wrangler can be okay. It's not super exciting. Aether Helix is pretty great. Kills tokens, brings something back. So my first instinct is to take Helix, and then I saw the Sciences. Now, between Helix and Sciences, I'm not really sure. That said, I think I have enough fixing at this point already, where I don't have to pass up a really powerful card in order to hedge my bets with the Sciences. We already kind of know that we're going to have a little bit of green, a little bit of blue, or a lot of green and a little bit of blue in our deck. So I'm pretty happy with the Helix over the Sciences. But if you would take Sciences there, or if you think Sciences is the right move there, I think that's certainly valid too. So Test of Talents, Negate basically is pretty good. And you can see the opponent's whole deck and hand, which does have some value. But there's also a Mage Duel, which we don't have any creatures just yet. But I do think Mage Duel is pretty solid removal in colors that usually lack such. Now, Ardent Dust Speaker can be an engine. We probably don't need that if we do end up in Quandrix. And then Pop Quiz would be our first learn card. But I'm pretty happy with a 5th pick Mage Duel. I'm definitely happy with a 6th pick Serpentine Curve. This card is gas, and I think people are picking it a lot higher now than they were at the beginning of the set. If you look at our, current, if you look at our current deck, we have 5 cards, 4 of which turn on Serpentine Curve. And they're all early spells that we play. We ramp, and then all of a sudden Serpentine Curve is a 6/6 for 4. And it also counts itself. Other notable mentions in the pack are Arcane Subtraction, Pledge Mage, and Wrangler, all of which I think are fine. If we wanted to start splashing, I think Umbral Juke is definitely reasonable. But I'm definitely going to take the curve here while I can see one, because I think it's a pretty core piece of what I'm trying to do. So this is interesting because Biomath really protects the Casmina. It buffs an early Serpentine Curve if we're forced to play it. It also just protects Kaz. I think Biomath is the best card with terms of Kaz, and it also works with Mage Duel. But obviously, Pop Quiz, we can't deny, our first learn card has a tremendous amount of value. So it's definitely tough. I think I'm going to take the quiz. And I'm definitely going to take another curve here over the Fractal Summoning. Well, Fractal Summoning is really, really good too. This is tough. I think I definitely want my first summoning, right? We're not going to be able to do Mentor's Guidance very often, so I'm not really looking at that. But, man, Serpentine Curve is one of those pieces that you really need as well. I'm going to go for the curve. This could be wrong, and honestly, I've found Strixhaven to be a pretty difficult set to manage. Burying Books is really incredible. So is that lesson, though. I didn't actually mean to double-click on it, but I feel like I am holding up the draft a little bit. I think I'm going to get my Mathematician here. So, alright, Drake Wheels. We're definitely in an open lane, Quandrix. I definitely want one campus, but I'm fine taking what I've got already. Wow. So, we're going to have our pick of the litter here. I've never done the full, Quandrix fractal plan, and I think that would be really cool to try. So I'm going to take the second Mathematician here, since we did wheel it, and see if we can't. Wow, 3 Mathematicians. Okay, so we're doing the fractal plan. This is going to be sick. Alright, pack 2. So we open up Tempted, which is very, very good, and then Bookworm, which is also very, very good. How is our ramp? We have Cultivate and Sequence. So we're ramping to Bookworm decently, but not too crazily. So this card is pretty incredible. It's a built-in 2-for-1, right? You gain their thing. It steals, tokens. It's just pretty great. So because it's the rare over Bookworm and the cheaper card, I think I am going to take Tempted by the Auric. I don't really need 3 Bookworms, so if we do see one later, we're definitely going to be grateful that we took this card, which we're never going to see this card again. So, alright. Awesome. We've got another Emergent Sequence, and we've got another Serpentine Curve. So the curves are all really great with the Mathematicians. So that makes me want to take the curve, but it is pick 2. And I think Sequence is also really good with the Mathematicians because it's also fractal, right? So let's definitely take the second Sequence, as that's a bit rarer of a card. And we'd be happy to wheel Mage Duel or pass Summoning here. Super happy for those. Okay, so we've got Campus, we've got Eureka Moment, we could take our first lesson. Um, Wormhole Serpent is pretty sweet, honestly, but not really like full fractal mode. I think I'm going to take the moment. We don't have much card draw just yet besides the pop quiz, and I think it's pretty relevant here for our general game plan. Ooh, divide by 0 over not much else. I'm going to slam that one. So we've got some decent learn now. We need to start getting those lessons. I think there was a pick where I accidentally clicked maybe Burying Books over Elemental Summoning, and I think maybe that was a mistake. Alright, so we've got Simone. She's definitely a late game powerhouse, but we've also got Negate just as some, like, I don't know, defensiveness, and I think Negate's pretty gas in this set. Simone's also pretty sweet, though, if you do end up getting free mana. I'm going to go for the Negate. And then there's also something worth mentioning, ramping towards that environment. What is it? Elemental Masterpiece. Okay, so we can splash black for Witherbloom command, but it's not that great. I'm taking my first Elemental Summoning over pretty much anything. Really happy to get that one. Alright, second Drake or Pledge Mage. We've got a lot of non-creature spells. Let's throw that Pledge Mage in there. Start growing him. Or her. Or them. And next up, I think Karak Wrangler could be okay. It's a bit slow for my tastes. Maybe Vortex Runner is worth it. Maybe Big Play could be good. Yeah, we'll take the uncommon. We might cut it. I'm not sure. Alright, do we want a Pest Summoning to have access to as well over an Aerialist, which would be our first flyer? I think we do. And then we're kind of... So Quandrix's a bit less available pack 2, but I think we'll definitely get some good stuff pack 3. Take a big play over nothing. Archivist is pretty medium. Although I guess we are ramping decently, and it does have reach, so take that. Alright, Wormhole Serpent came around. I think that's a little bit better than Wrangler for the 5-drop slot. I'll play a Curate. I don't mind that. So, Mercurial Transformation as a lesson can potentially kill some stuff. Or we could take Masterpiece. I'm going to take the lesson. We could splash easily, but we don't have to splash. Pennant could go on some big curves and be good. I'll think about it. Alright. Counterspell. Seems good. Augmenter Pugilist also seems pretty good. Fractal Summoning would be dope. Mage Duel is decent, but I think it's definitely between these two. So, got 7 instants. I guess I can keep up 2 blue decently well. But we're going to get to 8 or more lands a bit quicker than most. Also, Echoing Equation can low-key be a win. If you do end up with some like big token, or with a bunch of like 1/1s from the Mathematicians, and then all of a sudden they become bigger, so I'm happy taking this. Ooh, Magma Opus. Sweet. Playable Mythic. Heck yeah. Snow Day, Impulse, Zoomancy, Campuses, Annihilation even are all great, but we could splash for something, and now we finally have something worthy of the splash. So let's take the Opus here. Honor Troll isn't really where this deck belongs. I do really want a Campus. I've already got 25 playables. So let's just take a campus, right? Over like Needlethorn Drake. Don't know why I put it in my sideboard. Field Trip, Quandrix Apprentice, Serpentine Curve. Jeez. I think it's gotta be Quandrix Apprentice, right? Ah, another Quandrix Apprentice. Oh my gosh. Eureka Moment, Simone, Snow Day. So, Quandrix super open. I don't even know what to pick here, honestly. I think the Apprentice is pretty good. So I'm going to take it. But man, Simone too? I don't know. And the moment, like, I think the moment. I'm happy with that, honestly. Alright, strategic planning is kind of meh. Implementer is kind of meh. Fortifying Drought, again, just kind of like whatever. I think I'll put a Prophecy in the learn board. We're already doing pretty good. Snakeskin Veil. Yeah, that could be decent. Witherbloom Pledge Mage, also worth mentioning. So, sure. I mean, can help us protect our big curves. Do we want to off-color campus just for the campus value? Maybe. Okay, Fractal Summoning or Mage Duel in the side. Well, like we said, we already have so many playables. I think Fractal Summoning in the learn board is just worth its weight in gold here. Adventurous Impulse, Snow Day, or Professor. If I knew I was going to wheel a Snow Day, I wouldn't have taken the Eureka Moment. Yeah, Professor's pretty good. I like it. I'm going to take it. And that'll probably wrap it up for us here. Don't really need a campus guide. I probably don't even need the commons. Wow, Snow Day. Alright, sure. So we've definitely got some really good cards here. We can kind of take out a bit of the middling cards and see where that leaves us. I do think Subtraction is good, I just don't know how good it is. Is it better than Pop Quiz or worse than Pop Quiz? It's a great question. We've got a lot of threes. So let's try it over the Pop Quiz. Do we really want to play 3 biomaths? I mean, maybe. I don't know if we're worried about flyers enough to play a weird 6-drop like that. And the mountain really only need 1. So we've got 7 green, 8 blue, 1 red. But it's more like 1, 2, 3, 4 red, plus a high chance of drawing it with the Apprentice as well. Higher chance for just the 1 card that we can't play till late game anyway. So I think it's fine. We need all that blue for the Tempted by the Auric. Is Campus better than Forest? I mean, we're probably going to be using our mana pretty well here, but maybe. So we've got 2 more cuts to go. So, in sideboard, we've got 5 playable ones. So, like, we could have up to even 5 learn cards and be fine. We've got 1, 2, we've only got 2. We've only got 2. So if we've got 2, we can grab Elemental Summoning and then one of the other 4. Just most games, I guess that'd be fine. It makes me not want to cut the subtraction even though it's kind of medium. Kind of want to cut a Mathematician. And then 1 more cut. Not sure. Alright, so I'm going to count Snakeskin Veil as interaction. This is interaction. This is more considered removal, right? I guess removal is interaction, right? So, interaction. This is a creature. Creature. Interaction. I count this as like value or card draw card. Interaction. Creature. I'm going to count this as a creature. Creatures. This steals a creature. This is value. This is interaction. Creature. Value. And a little bit of interaction, but mostly value. And again, I like this could go in both places, right? So Snow Day and Magma Opus kind of like could be either section. So if we look, our interaction piles are super high. Our value piles aren't that high. We've got a decent set of creatures. The data says 8, but it's actually 4 plus 7, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14 creatures, which is actually a decent amount. One more cut. I like the Mathematicians with the Casmina, but I think that they may be the weakest card in a vacuum here. We do have a lot of creatures to use Mage Duel for, so that card's pretty good. Not as many permanents for Aether Helix, honestly, but the permanents that we do have are decent. Decent enough. And then, I mean, so we're not really holding up Opus or Snow Day, or maybe we can hold up the Moments with the negate. Definitely Subtraction and Veil and 0 are good with negate. Burying Books as well. This is a tough cut. Certainly a tough cut. Do we play 17 lands? Is also another thing you could think about. My instincts say yes with an 8 drop, but maybe we're seeing enough lands and we have enough ways to pull lands that we could go down 1. But I feel that could be dangerous. We could play 41. We could play 41, which is definitely, it's fine statistically. But, in an ideal world, you would cut your weakest card, right? Could go with Zimone here. We are kind of doing the Quandrix thing, so let's do it. So our mythics were Magma, Opus, and Casmina Enigma Sage. Let's name it like that. And, man, this 41 is kind of bugging me, isn't it? I think it's just the mathematician, as weird as that is to say. But the mathematician buffs 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially 5 other cards if we get the lesson. It makes 2 bodies for protecting Casmina. And I guess you count as Casmina as Fractal Maker, which it is, then it's 6. So it buffs 6 other cards in our deck. What is Wormhole Serpent doing? It's kind of trying to be like the inevitability game. It's really good with a big curve, and it's got a big toughness slot for blocking. It ramps nicely after Cultivate. You have 5 mana generally. So it does play pretty nicely from Cultivate into Come Up the Board, into free to do all of your weird Quandrix things. This is tough. This is tough. Let's try 41. And if we draw the mathematicians and they don't end up being good, then we'll know to move out of there. But the time for talk is over. The time for action. So we need to draw a land here, obviously. Preferably 2. Thank you, deck. Green one would be great next turn. I'd like to draw a green one. If we don't draw a green, we can't really do anything. So we'll subtract the Pilgrim and probably go get, I don't know, Elemental Summoning or Fractal Summoning. Yikes. Or do we go just get Introduction to Prophecy? I mean, no, because we can Eureka Moment next turn, right? So, just get the summoning. So, Quandrix Apprentice would be good, but I think we just want a moment. We're definitely, like, getting run over here a bit. Probably have to put out a curve soon. No lands? Oh my gosh. Why not, deck? Why not? I think I just have to drop a curve, right? think I'm gonna drop the Wormhole Serpent, as I can get that back with Aether Helix later if I need to. Okay. So we're definitely getting run over right now. And we're still not drawing lands. I think this is the best thing we can do, trade off for Pilgrim. And then next turn, have access to 5. But I think it's probably just over, right? That was pretty rough. Okay, so 41, huh? Maybe that just messes up the feng shui of it all, you know? So we're not cutting a land, that's for sure. The mathematicians would have actually been pretty sweet there. What cards kind of sucked there? Well, the curves, but that's because 2 curves in your opener isn't very good. So maybe I should have mulliganed there. I mean, I think definitely, looking back at it, should have mulliganed there, right? This is tough. This is tough. I think Serpent can probably go. It's just kind of the weirdest other card. Yeah. Alright, so we can emerge in sequence to get our blue, so this is definitely a keep. We aren't even going to need to. We can go get the red. Although it does mean opponent can blow up our only red source, which is a bit of a yikes, seeing as we also have Cultivate on the way. Alright, so if we play Cultivate on turn 4, we can make a 3/3 naturally. But I think it's probably just better to... It's probably just better to play it now. Getting the island. We'll cultivate for the mountain so that it can't be destroyed. And then we'll turn the island into a 3/3. Because we don't need to cultivate right away. We can do it on turn 4. I guess you'd have to do it on turn 5 to make it a 3/3, so... I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's just slam this math. I think it's cultivation time. I don't need to attack, I'll just kinda play late game against Lorehold deck. Uh-oh. I take it back. I take it back. Oh no. Oh, I should have played the island. That was a bit of an oops. Yeah, sure. Man, he gets my curve of all things. At least it's not very good for him, but I was looking forward to that. Opus is pretty sick. We actually can't play the Magma Opus here. We need one more land, right? But we can Snow Day and keep up Veil. So do we just Snow Day here? Man, I need that land. But I also don't want it. What should I do? I think I'll keep it. I think Magma Opus is the way we win. Because I can't outvalue Nasari's just drawing an extra card off my deck every freaking turn. And this can potentially deal 4 to him and make 2 4/4s. And I've got 8 damage on the board already. So he actually probably loses next turn to Magma Opus, which is going to be sweet. So should I Snakeskin Veil just for the extra damage? Tap 2 target permanents, so he's going to have everything tapped. Deal 4 damage to any number of targets, so he's at 6, and then I easily win. Right? So I'm fine. Nice. We got it in with the mythic rare. We won with Nasari on the table. Feels good. Much different from that first game. Wormhole Serpent would have not been good anywhere in that draft, really, or in that game. I mean, it was okay, but I feel Mathematician showed how it can be good, and I'm pretty happy with the cuts and everything like that so far. So hopefully the games are more like that one, and let's keep it up. Alright, sweet, we got our Mythic here. Now, Snakeskin Veil does not work with Casmina. And again, I think I'm gonna get an island here over a mountain because we don't actually have the Opus. Opponent's on the same thing. So, do we want to attack? We actually drew the Opus. We could play Casmina and keep up Snakeskin Veil, right? But then we'd have a tapped creature, wouldn't we? Man, this is tough. So, what if we just attack? We could also bury in books the swamp when they attack me next turn. But I think bury's going to be pretty sweet to have up with Casmina in play. I'm just going to slam Kaz and start scrying. Specifically for a land. So pretty glad to get that other moment onto the bottom. So, do we make a 3-3? Or do we keep scrying for the land? I mean, I really need the land, but I kind of will draw 2 cards anyway. And keeping up both Bury and Snakeskin Veil seems pretty gas. So let's do it. No attacks. Sweet. All right. Campus. It's not really the land I'm looking for. Let's just hold it up. Bury in books, Eureka moment. I really want to be able to moment here, but I'm happy to bury if it means keeping Cass alive. Sure. That's it. Cool. Come on, land. Sweet. Alright, another land. Okay. Okay. Alright. So now what? I think a 2-2 is probably best here. We could cultivate. Put the mountain out tapped. Get another island maybe? Okay, put the mountain out untapped, make opponent think we may have some red interaction. And we're keeping up subtraction and bury. The unwilling ingredient may be able to get in if they attack all. But I think the value chain there is going to be way too good. Okay. Yep. Yep. So you're giving me these trades for free? Opponent's just so scared of Kazmina that he is about to lose the game. Okay, sweet. We're one land away. Let's scry. Return permanent to its owner's hand. Can get rid of that swamp. And can get back Kazmina when she dies to Spectre. So, sure. Alright, so the plan here is just let Kaz die now. If we need to. We've got... We can hold up Divide and Bury, which seems pretty good. Gonna start attacking with the 4/4. I think I do want to play this 6/6 now, because it allows me to keep up Bury or Divide. And I probably will actually bury the Spectre, just to keep getting Kaz's value. Because, I mean, Kaz has been single-handedly destroying this game. So opponent learns for exile target non-land permanent. Okay, so you're going to exile Kaz and I can't get her back with Aether Helix. That's a bit of a bummer. But I felt like for 3 mana, she's done pretty good. She's done pretty good for me. Actually, you know what? I can kill herself. She can kill herself next turn. And then I can Helix her back after they've used the exile on the 6/6. That'd be gas. Let's do that. Opponent doesn't even attack. Wild. Wild. I'm just gonna divide the swamp. Oh, I can't. Shit. And divide could be a really good way to get around the exile if he does use it on Kaz. So maybe I want him to use it on Kaz. Oh man, this is crazy. What should I do? What should I do? I mean, I think I should definitely attack. So we want her to use it on Kaz, or we don't? I don't know. I don't think we really care. I'm going to keep up both Bury and Divide. And I think probably Fractal Summoning is the best here. Like, I guess I could have tempted the Servant, but yeah, the game's pretty much over. I mean, that was pretty rough for the opponent. Just spent the whole game trying to kill Kaz, never could. Threw away 2/3/3s. Granted, he was going to trade one, but even without the Arcane Subtraction, the play definitely wasn't very good. You know, you're throwing away a 3/3, and then you're trading a 3/3 for one of my 2/2s. I mean, I had 3 blockers, and he only attacked with 2 things. He had to attack with everything in order to kill her. So, bit of a weird play from the opponent. Alright, this hand's pretty sweet. I may end up getting the mountain. I don't know. Like, we have Magma Opus in the frickin' opener, so potentially getting the mountain is good. Opponent is green-red. Oh, they're probably Teamer. I think with the first sequence, we will get a blue. Or we should have gotten a green. We should have gotten a green. But I think the second one I can get a mountain. Opponent kills the island. Sweet. Not sure why they did that, but we're happy about it. We'll do an aggressive curve because we've got this mage duel to back it up. Alright. Return target permanent to its owner's hand. Oh, the island? Yeah, no thanks. We could just straight up divide this Needlethorn pre-combat. I'm casting Opus next turn. Let's get a I guess Fractal Summoning is the next best play. So we could divide by 0 our mountain. I'm just going to keep it around for this turn. Alright, it's just Arcane Subtraction. I mean, what's the word? Burying Books? So I played around Burying Books there. I'm happy to do 2 less damage in order to secure my Opus next turn, because this Opus is going to destroy the opponent. Yep. It's over. The game is over. I don't need to tap any Good game. Aether Helix is a kill spell against fractal tokens. Sweet. That was pretty dominating game there. Yeah, we can go get our island and then play all of our cards. This is pretty sweet. So, do we want to math it up? Nah, I mean, I don't think opponent's going to trade for the Spectacle Mage anyway, is he? So we don't need to math it up just yet. Although, could have put in 3 damage pressure to the opponent with it. Sure. And then, are we fine getting rid of the apprentice? Nah, I want to keep it. Negate's pretty sweet here. If he does have like a Pigment Storm or Practical Research or something like that. Honestly, I'm fine countering this. I'm going to spend a lot of my mana for these next few turns, and it gets me another land here. Well, it would if I had any lands. Do I need 7? Kind of want to curve before math. So let's just do something like this. Take another big hit in the air, but then we'll have Snow Day with 8 mana, I think. So this Biomathematician's putting 5 power and toughness on the board right now. Is that good enough? I don't know. But 5 power and toughness for 5 mana, or for 3 mana is pretty decent. So yeah, opponent was definitely looking for lands with the iteration. Taps down my 5/5. Fair enough. So we got 8 if we don't attack with the island, 7 if we do. So let's not. Let's offer him these 2. well, trade with the Veil too. Yep. Opponent doesn't want it. He sees the lethal, and he's going for it, baby. Let's go. Counters my spell. So he's going to get me down to 1. And then deal 3 to me. Wow. Good game. So, how could we have played that differently? I'm not sure. Could we, well, even if we had attacked for 3 that turn, I guess, like, we actively wanted to trade off, so in the end, we should have been more aggressive, maybe? I don't know. That was a hard game, losing to, like, Prismari Tempo Flyers, which I think is a pretty good archetype. So, you know, they got one over on us. Still think the deck is fire, though. And then the first game, the first loss, was a bit of a mistaken keep against an aggro deck. You know, we didn't know our opponent was an aggro deck. Against a more dirtily deck, I think we would have won. But regardless, I mean, I'm decently happy with our record right now, and I think the deck definitely deserves to be at least 5-3, at the least. Whether or not we get there due to variance and a little bit of pilot error, you know, that's on us. And, well, the dice gods. Super interesting spot, because Emergent Sequence after Apprentice draws a land, right? But if we do it now, the next turn the Mathematician makes it a 3, and we can go on the aggressive, and then we have another Mathematician. So, I'm going for it. Do we get the mountain? Nah. That's 8 damage coming at you, bud. It's funny how, like, another Mathematician would just be the best draw here, but we only have the 2. I think there's definitely a world where you're like Quandrix aggro. I think that's really sweet. Like Quandrix aggro using emergent sequences, Mathematicians, and like curves and summonings. Alright, cool. Cool. Yes, I like this play here, so. we're gonna keep attacking, for sure. And opponent's gonna trade off. And then now we're gonna play Pledge Mage, and next turn we've got Aether Helix. So this game is over, pretty much. Not to get too cocky, but I mean, what could they possibly do? I think like Emergent Sequence, into Mage Duel, into Devouring Tendrils, and yeah, you know, they kick my ass, but I don't think they have that. If they did, why haven't they played it? He's certainly trying to find the line. He's thinking it out. Respect. I can play a little slow sometimes, so I'm not mad. Oh, there's the tendrils. Okay. Mage Duel? Mage Duel killing the island is pretty much his only way to survive here. Reflective Golem. So he wanted to do Golem Tendrils. Then you should have played the Golem instead of the Pledge Mage, my dude. Got a little too greedy. Alright, so it's just Aether Helix, right? On Pledge Mage. Returning Math. Attack all. He can't just jump a 2-2. He's got to block the 4-4. That's why we attacked all. So opponent's going to have no board. We're going to have 4 creatures. We could have, keeping that in mind, we could have bounced the Golem if we wanted to kill the Pledge Mage more, but bouncing the Pledge Mage is basically killing it, right? It's a frickin' 3-mana 2-2, like, who cares? The Golem is much scarier with another Tendrils, right? Or it doesn't work with Tendrils, does it? Because it targets 2 things, so never mind. I think, regardless, we are probably coming out ahead as we drop Mathematician next turn. Then we have 4 lethal threats against 1 blocker. Not sure how you get out of that one. From opponent's perspective, I mean, Biomathematician won the game. Like, and that's the goal. That was the goal in making this deck, so I'm glad we got it there. Even with only 2 maths, we ended up casting 3 anyway. Again, I'm super happy that we've made it to the 4-win mark. This is where I consider it breaking even. And if I break even and I'm having fun, then everything is good. Really appreciate you sticking this far in. If you have stuck this far in, I think you've definitely enjoyed this little bit of entertainment. And if you have, I'd really appreciate if you would do all the YouTube engagement, thumbs up, subscribe, and comment. Really, really, really appreciate it. I'm just getting started out with this sort of content. So if you do enjoy it and you do stick to the end, that is one big way that you can support me, and it only takes a second. Really appreciate it. Let's get into this game. I think this is a mulligan for sure. We could draw the forest, and if we don't, we could be like, oh, well, you could just make a treasure for, green. I don't think that's good enough. Let's mull. This is better. Opponent took 2 mulligans. So tempted is a way to get back in the game. I don't think we're going to have double green too soon. So do we think we're going to have triple blue or double green, I guess is the question. Because I think Eureka Moment's pretty good to, like, draw back into the game. I'm going to keep the 2 for 1 over the 3 for 3. And hopefully our play pattern will go campus, draw a 2-drop, play the 2-drop, emergent sequence for an island, and then tempted, and then we win the game. Easy. Alright, so we drew the second forest. Our little bet over the Pugilist or the Auric now feels a bit bad, but I still think it's fine. Okay. Interesting card. It's definitely a bear with a lot of upside. A bear being a 2/2 for 2, which is just a magic term if you're not too familiar with it. So he discarded Thrill, and now he's gonna discard Thrill. Alright. Oh, gets back Pigment Storm, then exiles it. Okay. Hey, we drew that island that we wanted? Sweet. We could have buried the Theorist, but I'm probably going to keep it for something a little bigger. And we can just block with the Mathematician. We'll probably end up burying this after it grows. Or what? We could steal that, right? Well, why don't we just steal it later? When he grows it. Jump with the 1/1. And then this turn we'll just Eureka Moment and hold stuff up. We could offer the trade with the math, but I don't think that's right. I think we're just chilling. We'll let opponent do the work for us by growing the Pledge Mage. Sure. So you're like a Mage Crafter guy? Well, now that opponent has counter magic up, like, I want to do it even less. to attack right into a growing Pledge Mage either. I figured it was something innocuous like a draw spell. But again, we're happy to let him do this. I think stealing something that opponent has invested in, like whatever he puts the frickin' anatomy on, jeez. This is a good game though. Alright. Please tap out. That was a bit whack, dude. Now you're like kind of in this position where you have to play it. Alright. Opponent's a bit whack here. I think his play pattern was completely off. So, I'm tired of messing around. Let's go for the kill. We can deal with pretty much any threat that he's about to drop. So the only bad thing would be removing his own Pledge Mage, because then our clock is a lot slower. But we're gonna draw some cards with Snow Day, and we'll draw one card, discard, draw two cards, discard one card, and we can bury pretty much anything. We can even do it on our turn to get in damage. So, okay, assistant gets back pop quiz. Okay, she could learn for something good, perhaps. Quandrix Apprentice. So we could do Apprentice and then bury and get that value. Sure. Wow, Negate and Snakeskin Veil would have been pretty good to draw. But that's okay. Hidden for 8 here. No, that is pretty gas. And I think I'm going to keep the island as discard fodder for the Snow Day. So, like I said, if opponent has removal for his own Pledge Mage, then we've got a game still. If he doesn't, then it's pretty much written on the wall at this point. Pop quiz for 3, can go learn for 3. Just makes a 4/4 instead. Alright. Opponent keeps up 2 mana. But I like drawing here, so I'm gonna draw. And it's game. Going for the throat. Let's go. Come on, deck. I know you're a star. We can make it. We can make it to the top. We're 5-2. Let's go. Sure. This hand's pretty frickin' sweet. Sequence for an island. Into cultivate. Casmina and then mathematician afterwards. Once we've got like 6 mana. And then, yeah, this is good, this is good. Alright, we drew the island naturally. I don't need to drop the mountain right away. Maybe next turn math. I kind of want to go cultivate into mage duel. I mean, ideally I would mage duel this turn before the pledge mage gets out of hand. I guess that's the safest play, right? I can't make this island any bigger than it already is, right? So yeah, that was definitely the move. I wish I could have had another 2 mana spell. But I'm not going to risk losing the game just to the turn 3 pledge mage that I can't answer. Although now, of course, we draw Tempted. Which is still going to be pretty good if we can steal that colony. So, is it okay to let the Karok hit us? Probably don't want that. Let's do this, and then they'll probably have removal or some sort of interaction for the island block. But then we can cultivate, and then we can steal the 2/2. I could. I'm just gonna trade the island. I was gonna say I could block with the math and the fractal, but I feel like that gets me blown out to more things. I think it's probably cultivate here. Bayou Groff is a pretty sweet auric target for next turn. Maybe we should have negated the hunt. Like, we can negate the fractal summoning, but we should have negated the hunt for sure. because then we would have also cut off the pest, and it was just a natural sort of sequence. So maybe tempted next turn is even better with apprentice. Apprentice negate? Eureka moment? I don't know. Maybe I should have just slammed it down there. And I definitely should have negated the hunt. That would have just been super clean. We'll just do this. Opponent will probably let it trade, and then when he plays this big fractal, we'll steal it. We've also got an Opus now. Let's try it. Remember, we've got Aether Helix even if it dies. Should we let it die? Probably. I don't think I can protect it, so I'm just gonna let it go. Four, 5, 9 mana. Not enough to do both, but enough to tempt and then counter. So do we want to tempt Vortex Runner? Or Colony? So negate for sure this turn, hopefully, and then Magma Opus next turn. Just negating that. I have to play negate this turn. Alright. 4/4, 4/4. So, next turn he's gonna play a big fractal. Right? I guess. Yes, since I think I might be making some mistakes here for sure. Please tell me in the comments what I should have done instead. Like, should I have played Magma Opus there? Should I have played it pre-combat, killed the 4/4? Probably should have played it pre-combat and killed it, right? But here I'm thinking that, like, if I play it, like, main phase, right? I can deal damage straight to him. Tap these. And then I'm pretty much like guaranteed lethal next turn. At least that's the way I saw it. And now Snakeskin Veil kind of makes that like even more legit. A pest to block. Oh my gosh, 3 pests to block. Alright, so we've still got a game for sure. Tons of blockers now. Snow Day's pretty gas though. Can discard. I think just the mathematician's not that great right now. Attack all. Got it. We got it, even though we made a bunch of mistakes, I'm sure. That's just the power of this deck. We're doing things here. We're doing things. 6-2. Final boss status. No extra lives. Let's go, team. Let's go. If you've made it this far, have you made it this far? Most people don't watch it this far, if you look at the analytics. So if you have, you're special. You're special. I love you. And I really appreciate any sort of engagement that you could give right now while we're waiting for this last game to load. Just exit out of full screen, click 2 buttons, like and subscribe, of course, and then come back. Just takes 5 seconds. You're the best. Love ya. Let's get into this with a keeper. Alright, time to make our revenge against the aggro deck. Is it Lorehold or Silverquill? It is Silverquill. What are they gonna name? What card? Mage Duel. We do have one of those. Alright. Let's make this 2/2 first. Okay, fair enough. So maybe sequence was the better play there. Let's try it here. So make it 2-2. Opponent doesn't attack. Weird. Let's math it up. Keep up subtraction. Okay. I'll attack you. Okay. Nothing. Opponent's done nothing. Nothing for 2 turns. With 6, 7, I don't even know. 6 mana. 3 colors. Nothing. Again. Alright. Let's see how long he can keep doing nothing, I guess. The way I reckon, it's 2 more turns. If you're doing nothing, I'm doing nothing. What do you just have all lands? Like, the final boss is coming up short here, honestly. I'm a bit disappointed, you know? It's a bit anticlimactic, I would say. No. I learned my lesson. I didn't negate the hunt last game. I'm negating the guiding voice now if you literally haven't done anything for 7 turns. Okay. Sweet. Got a Death Toucher though. And I got my Mage Tool. And I got Subtraction. So probably should have just Aether Helixed first. I can do like this, get this attraction down, dealt with. Probably get, if I get Mercurial Transformation, I can kill the people. So I don't know if you guys know this, but, oh, well, okay. First, we're definitely Mage Dueling. Oh, he named Mage Duel, remember? Oh my gosh, that's so funny. But yeah, without a creature to put these 4 counters on is a lot better. So because we dealt 3 damage to it, we can turn it into a frog, and it should die. Why didn't it die? I don't understand how cards work. I'll be honest with you. Let's just do what we should have done in the first place. Get back Pledge Mage, I guess. Alright, we still beat the final boss even though we kind of whiffed on that. Um, I think it's because it's counters and not uh, just a plain power and toughness. But yeah, if it's like if that wasn't a star pupil with a bunch of counters and instead it was like a 5/5, if we had dealt 2 damage to it, we could go learn for Mercurial Transformation, turn it into a 1/1, and it would still have kept the 2 damage, and then it would have been, killed. At least I'm pretty sure. I don't know. But congrats to our deck. We made it. The deck was pretty sweet. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Love ya. Peace.